Hey, what's up everybody? Adobe Masters here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create the before and after wipe. What this is it's just a wipe to sort of show off an effect or a plugin or anything like that. Basically, you have the before shot and then you have the after shot, and it looks a little something like this. So if we just go ahead and jump into here, I'm going to go back to fit, and you'll see that we have this wipe going across, and right side is the before and the left is after some color correction to make it look nice. And then you can do some more fancy stuff like this where you have it come in, and then down here it does a radial wipe, so it wipes across there to show the effect or transition or whatever. So that is going to be the effect. There's a couple of ways to do this, and they all work slightly differently, so I'm going to go over all of them so that hopefully one of them will be what you are looking for. So let's get started by just creating ourselves a new sequence. So I'm going to jump out of this one. I'm going to go back into my footage over here, and I'm just going to drag the movie in here to make it make a sequence. Then I'm going to unlink the audio because we don't want to hear that. And so now I have this right here. And the first thing to do is add some sort of effect or filter or something to it to make it actually look different than the original. So let's say we want to do lumetri through here, so we can go into creative and we can sharpen up the image and we can make it really vibrant and like this, and let's do a really extreme like shadow tint and like a cross tint on the yellows up here. Maybe not that extreme. Something like that. Crazy filter so that we can really see what's going on. So now we have our filter. If you're only using one effect, it's actually pretty simple to accomplish this sort of transition. All you have to do is click on the footage that you have applied your effect to. So in this case, it's lumetri. So if we go to effect controls, it's right down here under lumetri, color, and then what we want to do is we want to use these buttons like we did in the reveal transition tutorial. So if I click on this button, it's going to create me a nice little square, and you can see that inside of it is the thing that we're looking at, and outside of it is the original footage. So what we're going to want to do is we want to zoom this out to about 10 or maybe 25% so we can see outside of the boundaries. And then what we want to do is just drag this to this side, drag that to that side, and then get these as close to the top left and bottom left of the part as possible, or to the top right, bottom right. You can do this anyway. It's an animation, so we have control over it. So if we go to right here, then we can just go and click the stopwatch, the animation button right here for toggle animation. Now that it's toggled, we can go forward, I don't know, maybe 2-3 seconds, go back to this, so click on it again, then go up to mask 1, and then we're going to just take this and we're going to drag it to the other side. Try to keep them as straight as possible when you get over here. All you got to do is get it kind of close and it'll look fine. So there we go, and now you'll see that the animation right there, the mask slowly moves over from the start to wherever we put the in time keyframe. So if we click play, you can see that the before and after transition goes across. And if you want to adjust the timing here, the keyframes right here, like we could drag it out to here, which I think is like 30 seconds. So you're going to see it slowly start to come in over here. Yeah, we don't want that. Usually want it kind of fast. So we're going to bring it back here, and that is the first transition. So now the second one, if you want to do a radial one, you can modify this one. So if we go to here, click back on the mask here, we could start it, so we could go over here to the left and we could start it maybe sort of like down here, maybe like sort of across like this, and then we might have to zoom out a little bit, and then sort of have it go in like that, except we need to adjust this. It's a little bit more difficult, that's what I'm trying to say here. So what we can actually do is we can use some of the built-in effects, and this is kind of also the technique to, if you have multiple effects that you want to. So if you don't just have lumetri, you have a bunch of different things you've applied to this, and you want to animate them all. So the next way to do this is to actually drag in another piece of the footage or to duplicate the footage itself. So if we click on this and we hit Control-C, Control-V, whoops, my bad, Control-C, and then make sure that this up here is selected, Control-C, Control-V, and then drag this so that they're exactly the same. So now we have a duplicate of this piece of footage here. You can also go up to File, Copy, Paste to do the exact same thing as Control-C and V. So we have a duplicate piece of footage right here. Now, on the top one, what we want to do is we want to delete the effects. We want to make it back to the original. So we delete lumetri, it goes back into the original footage. Now it looks like nothing's happening. So then we want to find the point that we want it to transition. Maybe we like right here. There's something special about this point. So what we want to do is we want to drag it back to here. And they're still completely in alignment because that's why we duplicated it. In case you change the timings and stuff, it'll be exactly the same with those sorts of effects. And you can see that it just switches colors. But now what we can do is go into the effects right here. So open up the effects tab. Then we can go into video transitions and then down to wipe, or really any of these will work. but I'm going to go down into the wipes because that's sort of how this effect is usually applied. And we can apply something like a radial wipe. So if I drag this here, you'll see that it wipes from the top left just like that. And we have a nice clean wipe going down. What's really neat about this is we can zoom this in. And if we click and drag on any of these sides, we can make it longer. So now we can slow the radial wipe down a little bit. And we can just basically play around with this. And if we don't like this one, we can delete it off. So just click on it and then click the delete key. And then we can drag in any other one that we want. Like maybe we think the Venetian blinds is a cool way to show it off. You can do it that way as well. And what's really neat about this is what I was talking about earlier, is that this is independent of the effect. So if I go back to this radial wipe and I apply it here, and let's stretch it back out a little bit, I can actually go down to the bottom one, and let's say I didn't only add lumetri. Let's say I added, let's see what effects here. Let's go with the blur, because that's really noticeable. Let's say I had some, let's go with a camera blur. Let's say I added a camera blur to this. I made it like this, so this is the new original. Now, the thing is, the animation right up here that I applied to lumetri, this mask is only for lumetri, so it's only one animation. I'd have to do this for every single one and then try to sync them up, which is basically impossible. Unless you maybe copy and pasted the mask. I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of difficult to do. So what we can do is we can just apply as many as we want, and then this top one is the default roll up here. So now it doesn't matter what's applied beneath it because it's always going to just transition into the bottom layer. And so this means we can apply 100 different effects and we don't have to animate every single one of them. Now we just have to do this transition from the top to the bottom, and then we have the full sort of transition going on here. And this also applies if, let's say, you didn't record effects in Premiere. So let's say you had an original video, you put it through some program, and it came out to a really nice video on the bottom here. But it doesn't have any effects at all over here. It's just because it's a new rendered version of the top one. You can get them in here, sync them up, and then all you have to do is apply this transition, and you can transition between the two. That is basically it on this tutorial of how to do a before and after wipe. All you have to do is, if it's one effect that's in Premiere, you can just click up here, do all that fun mask stuff. Or if you have multiple effects, or it's an effect that was applied out of Premiere or something, you can just do this double stack layer where you transition from the top one down to the bottom one. Thanks everyone for joining me. If you want to see more videos similar to this one, I make a video every other day on Adobe related topics, usually Premiere Pro, but I branch out into other Adobe products as well. If you got any questions, comments, throw those in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos, and if you have any suggestions for future tutorials, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I make a lot of tutorials on the suggestions as well. Thanks everyone for joining me, and until next time, see ya.